going to send something out with the crap board.
And then we start negotiating contracts.
Couldn't come up with one.
Both of you sit on each other's
lap.
negotiating contracts.
She had to make a.
Sit down somewhere, you're going to
Usually
be
open
tired.
registration financial. She said, I don't know how.
We have a contract, it's just like they're touching salary, conference, and fill in the blanks.
It's mud. You know what? It's sanitized mud.
Until somebody gets sick.
We do, we have a pay scale.
And he'll know that as well.
Yeah, we'll
Are
share
you
that.
there, Andrew?
Part of the.
And we offer, when we have
When we advertise, all that's like it's going to have a picture of Town of Chino Valley, talking about Town of Chino Valley, the position, the requirements, what we
You can't
offer,
do yourself.
the size of the community, all that stuff will be in there.
Good morning,
If
Lonnie.
anybody is talking quiet tonight and would like
Yeah,
a
it can't be morning.
wireless mic,
I'm too
we've got
tired.
an extra
I'll
one.
never make it through the day.
I know I poured concrete today, and it's the worst thing I could have done to my back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've been up here.
You're born what? Oh, you
Hi
just
So far, we're not having any.
I am. So getting up
Joe's
in the
doesn't
morning.
come across real well.
Yeah.
on the air,
Yeah.
so we brought the two to start.
Happy to get started. Business as usual.
Well, ours really
Oh, don't say what to me in that tone.
Yeah, you
We're out in
know.
the middle of a field. Feels like you're home.
We're going to move them up to the table when they do their
We can
presentation.
continue, we can even come to your house and work on your wellness.
That would be fine with
You
me,
just-
but
you
Joe
just
was
stay in
said
the
he
house,
has
we
his
talk
stuff
on
already set up.
Did they fix that?
It really, yeah, it hasn't.
Because
affected
when
us
you
much.
talked last week when I wasn't here, I couldn't hear you.
Couldn't hear me at all.
Ron, you can because he's got a booming voice because it's picking up on these mics. You, especially when you get technical, you soften up and you were gone.
There's a moment to my neck.
What's that?
Well, I won't promise anything, but.
I don't want to tell you the truth.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Can you hear me?
No.
Probably not.
Can you hear me now?
You
Can you
got
hear me now? No?
Well, if you won't reverb in here, it's for the sound booth.
Okay. We'll just play with it.
You ready for roll call?
This is the regular meeting, Tuesday, May 26, 2020, 6 p.m. And we'll go through the agenda. First thing was call the order, Pledge of Allegiance, and now we'll have roll call.
Very good. Good evening. All right, we'll start with Councilmember Kelly.
Present.
And Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Councilmember Perkins. Here. Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Vice Mayor Miller.
Here.
And Mayor Croft.
Here, thank you.
And Andrew is on the screen.
Hi, Andrew.
Where's your dog?
Hello.
Okay. Let's go to introductions, presentations, and proclamations. Update recording Yavapai College, presented by Rodney Jenkins, Vice President of Community Relations and Student Development, and Richard Hernandez, Director of Regional Economic Development Center, RADC, and Small Business Development Center, SBDC. Please come up to the podium and tell us what's going on.
That was a mouthful, at least Richard's position. So, good evening, Mayor, council members, city manager. Wanted to stop by, and when we had initially reached out to do the presentation, times were normal. So it's actually good that we are able to get out and present in front of a city council versus being on Zoom. Zoom has become my worst enemy because it wears me out worse than sitting in meetings do. Your community college has been at work trying to be proactive during the COVID, before, during, and after COVID. We are launching and supporting programs that enhance both the standard of living and quality of life for our students and our community. and so our goal is to create programs that are what we call disruptive in their industries. And so you may have heard that we were going to launch it in the fall, but in the spring we will be launching a construction science program that would include 3D printing. And Richard's going to get into some detail about that in a moment. We will be the only institution in the country that will provide this training. Our goal is not to build houses. It's to provide the techniques and the strategies so the developers can build houses for a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the time. We're also, we have a robust winery program, but younger folks want beer. So we will also be launching fermentation it was supposed again in the fall. We're going to launch it in the spring. And I think it's going to be a tremendous program for people who want to get into business in the fermentation. I don't drink, so but this job is trying to force me to drink. And so,
Come on over here.
and so to assist our winemaking program, the fermentation program, we want to help people get into that business. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the strategies we're using to help decrease and eliminate costs to college, and how we are working with our state legislators and how you can help us in that realm. So before I go on to open education resources, there are two pieces of legislation that I'm hoping our state legislators come back to. Both of them are extremely important for us. One is the Arizona Promise Program, Senate Bill 1661. It essentially will give about $4,000 per student, Arizona student, to attend community college. This essentially makes it free. We have a Promise program, but we're funding it through our institution, allowing people to go to college at no cost. And I'll provide, and then HB 2790, it's a real interesting piece because it would allow community colleges in the state of Arizona to offer 4-year degrees. And so if when I show you the cost calculator, you'll see how beneficial this is. We are all accredited by the same institution. So if you take English class at ASU or one of the other institutions, you're paying 4 times more than what you would pay going to Yavapai College. And I'm sure you can use that extra money to take a cruise or do something, or hide away and pay a babysitter to watch your kids while you travel. But at least you're not wasting it on education. So what's OER? Open Education Resources. OER is essentially a textbook-free class. And so we're launching this in the fall, and we're going to be adding over the next few years different programs. So what it does is, working with the publishers, it provides real-time information and text to our classrooms at a zero cost. That's very important because college shouldn't break you. Since 1980, you see the cost of textbooks has risen 812%. And so, you take an English class, you shouldn't pay $200 for the book. Our goal is to reduce that to nothing. On average, our students spend about $2,400 on their books. How about if they spent $0? And the most important part of this is that most of the material is real-time material. So I can remember when I was in school, when I'm studying history, it's always 2 administrations behind. And so this is, what did Trump do last night? It's that real. And so, talking about our cost comparison tool, this is a phenomenal tool, because as you can see, annually, what it costs at our 4-year institutions. At NAU, the average cost is $15,096. 16,728 at University of Arizona. Arizona State is 15,042. At your community college, the same courses, the same product is $6,198. You kind of think, why would you waste your money and send your kids there for their first 2 years? That you save $20,000. And so there's a direct relationship between the cost of college and those who finish. And so the more we reduce the cost of education, because we have no fees, we want to get rid of the cost of textbooks, and in most cases we want Yavapai College residents to have a zero tuition. So how are we getting our students? One of the things that's important to note, if you've driven past our main campus within the last 30 days, you'll notice this big monstrosity of a sign. I wanted to be bigger, but the FAA wouldn't let me go any larger. And that's part of our overall marketing strategy. But we've been working to do another one of those signs in Chino to make sure people can get to our CTEC campus. So our staff is working hard to find land that we can purchase we can put a sign on it that will be marketing, informational, and even provide information for events in the community here. So we're not selfish. We want to share the love. But if you saw the signs, you would say, wow, because the quality of the projection, first of all, our old sign, it's about 4 times larger, but the quality of the picture is like watching TV in your home, if you have a smart TV, not one of those old big ones that we grew up watching. And so the quality of the picture is phenomenal. So this is just part of our marketing strategy. We've launched a Hispanic initiative, working with our Latino community in each one of our communities. So we know where our Latino residents are. We are working directly with mailings, letters, and offers to get them to come to or come back to college. We increase our enrollment for those students who stopped out for whatever reason, whether they had kids, whether they had a job. We want them to come back and finish. And we're trying to work so they can come back and finish at no cost. Our goal is to remove every barrier. So when I'm out at Costco and I'm checking out and I'm this young person, I'm asking, why aren't you in school? Well, they give me this reason, this reason. What if I can remove those barriers? Would you go to college? Regardless of what you do with the degree, it's a phenomenal asset to have. And so we're doing everything we can to get people into college, and then enrollment management plan keeps them there. Because we just don't want you to go. We want you to walk across stage and finish within 2 years. And so one of the things that's important to note about our Hispanic program is, we hear all the time from companies, we need workers. Help us get a workforce. Well, the average age here in this county is 56, 57 years old. And the average age Hispanic resident is 28. Perfect for the workforce. 15.5% of our population. We need to get them to work, get them through college, and get them to work and picking up some of these jobs. I think we have countywide about 16,000 available jobs. Yeah. And so it is illegal for my 13 and 14-year-old to work. So they can't have the job. I mean, I've tried. But as soon as they turn 16, the manager at Walmart has their application already. So some college, no degree. You can see that it's about 75,000 people in this county who fits into this category. We need to get them to work, and we need to get them certified or have a degree. And we're working on it through our aggressive marketing plan. And I want to add, during this the COVID-19 situation, all of our sister schools in the state are down anywhere from 1 to 20% in their numbers. we're up 20%. And across the nation, our president is, I told her don't scream too loud because I don't want everybody to figure out what we're doing. We're reaching directly into the households of our residents and talking to them, trying to understand exactly what their future needs are, what their current economic situation is, and we're connecting them to the right program that they're interested in, putting them on a path where they can walk out either to employment or a 4-year degree. But we started this last November, and it's paid off. So we started before the pandemic, and we've gotten even more aggressive. So what we didn't do as an institution is lay off any of our employees. What we did is if you are in a job that you have no duties because of the pandemic, you were trained to become a recruiter. So we tripled the number of folks who are on the phones, who are working with the county residents, and it's paying off. And we're going to continue to do this through the fall. Right now, we're 100% online for the summer. We look to be about 70 to 75% online moving forward. Our model will change, and community colleges better wake up across the country, because we all need to look at how we do business and how can we change our models to be more effective moving forward with our communities. And so it's all about wraparound services. Every student gets an admission advisor. That's a person who gets them in. Financial aid advisor, someone to make sure they can find as much money as possible to make sure they can get through. An enrollment advisor, someone to help them through the steps of the process, and a retention advisor to make sure they graduate. And so I want to turn it over to Richard, and he's going to talk about, to me, one of the most unique programs in the country, and how our philosophy at the college has shifted to how can we improve the quality of life beyond what we're looking at today. So, many folks told us that we do have a housing crisis in this county. How can you help with the cost as well as with the construction? So I'm going to turn this over to Richard.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you again. It's nice to see some familiar and friendly faces. Before I talk about 3D printing, which is really kind of cool, I want to bring you up to date on the activity of the REDC during the COVID crisis. Now, as a polite reminder, the Regional Economic Development Center at Yavapai College is the outward-facing arm of the college, the non-academic side. So my shop, our department, is focused on helping business either entrepreneurially start or maintain, or existing businesses that might need some form of help, whether it's data, access to capital, etc. That's your Regional Economic Development Center at Yavapai College. Now, the REDC also houses the SBDC. Yeah, I know it's a lot of acronyms, but the Small Business Development Center is a congressionally funded arm of the SBA, all about helping small business. And the SBDC provides to our community free one-on-one counseling for business startups and existing shops, if you will. So during the COVID crisis, as you could imagine, and some of you in this room I think are business owners, you can imagine things got kind of rough for our businesses, a lot rough. As the legislatures, the Congress, and the President began to roll out programs, the EIDL, I think, the PPP, and all those other acronyms I'm not going to go through right now, our businesses were swamped with how do I do this? Who do I call? The community came together, the chambers, the ED folks, your Maggie here, Lynette across the street, and some of the other community organizations all came together. They met twice a week via Zoom, Tuesdays and Thursdays, to coordinate the efforts. The Emergency Operations Center here asked for the SBDC and the REDC to participate, getting information out. And we had a direct channel with the SBA to bring information to our businesses and to help them. Businesses would call and say, I need help come on down if you want, or let's get on Zoom. We'll show you how to fill out the forms. We'll show you how to get access to some of the federally funded programs that are available to you. So we were so much involved in the community that when Governor Ducey formed his reentry task force, headed up by Sandra Watson at the ACA, and her name slips my mind right now, but from the tourism shop, they asked the REDC to participate. So we were directly involved with the governor's office for reentry, for Restart, giving input from our community to help Yavapai County and our businesses. So when you think about Yavapai College, yeah, we're all about students, and yeah, that's the foundation block, and students, nothing gets done at the college without that measurement check against students. But there's also another mandated cause to support the community, the quality of life, and the businesses throughout the county. So that's the Regional Economic Development Center. One of the exciting things that we've been involved in recently is 3D printing. So you probably have seen at some point a 3D printer on somebody's desk, and they make, heck, they're making masks, the COVID masks right now, the frames for them. You've probably seen them make parts. 3D printers make metal parts, also machine parts for tractors and farms and so forth. But you probably haven't seen them build a 2,000 square foot home. Or if you have, it's just recently that you have. We've been actively involved working with a couple of companies. One, I'm going to show you a little short video. I know I don't want to take up all your time, but it's a 3-minute video. I'll probably show you half of it. But another company in Utah we're actually partnering with, and we've purchased a couple of 3D printers. And like Ronnie said, we're not in the business of building homes. That's not what the college wants to do, and that's not where we want to take the program. What we want to be able to do is elaborate our existing construction programs, to grow it and to include 3D printing of houses to help with our crisis. We call it attainable housing, affordable housing for our community. So 3D printing of houses is just like printing on your desktop, except the machine's 56, 60 feet long. They come in different sizes and of course appropriately priced. But it's a gantry system that is moved to a site on a 45-foot flatbed trailer. It can be set up in about half a day, and once the programming is loaded into the device, all you got to do is keep bringing the mud. Now, some companies call it a lavacrete, or short for lava. It is concrete, but it's a special kind of concrete. And therein lies the challenge for the universities and the technology that's being developed. Just about anybody can mix concrete. It's not that hard. You bust a bag open, throw some water in there at the right ratio, and stir it up, and you got concrete. And what we want is a concrete that comes out of a 4-inch hose or a 6-inch hose, a nozzle. So it flows, it's pumped. But once it's out of the nozzle, it has to hold its own weight. And therein lies the magic. Well, once that form is spit out, the next row, the first row has to hold the second, has to hold the third, has to hold the fourth. And I'll show you this video in just a minute to better exemplify what I'm talking about. The college is exploring different kinds of concrete and polymer mixes, even eco-friendly mixes. So at some point, we'll be able to produce lava, if you will, that is made out of substances that are very eco-friendly and very high R values. When you see this short video here shortly, you'll see 2 walls, an inside and outside wall, and some structural paths in between to hold the 2 walls together. But there's no reason that wall can't be 4 inches, 6 inches. If you wanted, it could be 10 inches thick. And that air gap provide an R value that in Arizona, where we are, insulate the homes extremely well. Now, we can print 3D roofs, but the technology today, it's cheaper just to use traditional truss forms. Although we could print the trusses on the floor and then tilt them up and put them on the roof. But right now, we're going to get there. Right now, the traditional construction for roofs is probably what we're going to do. So, Mr. Mayor, if you allow me, I'll show you this quick video.
Does the video have sound?
think it does, but
Because we don't have.
that's okay. You'll
see
you'll
pictures,
see.
but no audio.
You'll see, and I'll try to narrate a little bit. I promise I won't take up all your time. We may have to go through an ad, but. This first cup, yeah, no sound. This is the ad. So this is the gantry machine, and it's spitting out homes. These are about 1,600 square foot homes. That's the nozzle spitting out lavacrete. This was the original company to do 3D printing in the United States. And in fact, they didn't actually build in the United States because the permitting and the authorization from communities wasn't quite there yet. So their first community was actually built in Mexico. They did build, this is Icon. It's a company out of Austin, Texas, that we started negotiations and discussions with early on. Icon, you can see Alex there, the CEO and founder. Icon was originally chartered to do philanthropic work. So their main focus was to go to, say, third world countries and help with extreme poverty and build homes to help those communities not live out in the open, so to speak. But there's a 3D home, and you probably saw the way the nozzle spits it out. It looks like spaghetti laid on top of each other, but it doesn't have to be. As the mud's coming out, as the lava's coming out, you can take a common trowel, a masonry trowel, and smooth it flat like a plaster wall, if you will, or like drywall. Same with the interior. Or you could take a scratch trowel and scratch it so it has a texture to it. The possibilities are infinite. The real challenge, like I said, is getting it to come out of that nozzle and stand up on its own. It has to cure for a little while, but we can build a 1,200 square foot home in about a day if everything's ready to go. The roof, now, a certificate of occupancy is a whole different matter, but the physical squirting the lava out and building the walls is pretty quick. About 12 inches or whatever code is up from the bottom, the machine stops and allows you to lay conduit for the electrical. As is common in traditional slab construction, the plumbing is all underground and stubbed up, so the machine prints right around the stubs, and then at an appropriate time it stops and allows a traditional plumber to come in and do their thing. So the electric and plumbing gets put in as the walls are being built. I'm going to stop it here because it's more of the same, but we think that our program, in partnership with Mudbots, which is, if I do this right, which is the company that we've partnered with to buy the machines, we think we're going to have a disruptive and positive impact to our community in Yavapai County. We'll be able to build homes at approximately, don't hold me to this number, approximately 50% of traditional cost, and in way less time. So again, Rodney mentioned that we're not in the business of home building. That's not what we want to do. We want to turn out students and kids that can do this and can help with our attainable housing shortage in Yavapai County. Did you want to?
So there's one more slide left, and I'll quickly talk about that because it's actually Richard's shop. But then, if there are any questions, what we're endeavoring to do, we've been working with the federal government and the state government to raise the money to build a 30,000 or 40,000 square foot building now to really house an area where we could do a partnership with Embry Technology, cybersecurity, a business incubator where we will be a one-stop shop for existing businesses, an accelerator where we can help people who have just an idea start a business, and a corporate college that really teach businesses and employees of businesses in real-time training. And so I know I ran through that pretty quickly, but I wanted to see if you guys had any questions.
Questions, anyone?
I think it's fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
It's going to be exciting.
It is.
well, I heard you both use the word free.
That's all you heard.
Yeah. And you're still there. I don't buy into the whole free thing.
What do you mean?
Nothing in life is free. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, taxpayer money. We're trying to.
Well, yeah, I'm one of them taxpayers.
And
Me too.
we love you.
So will these people that are getting things for free. Yeah.
But you would rather have them for 2 years go through a program and then working and becoming your neighbor or a taxpayer than you continue to pay for them being on welfare rolls or something.
I was able to put myself through college, without any help. And let me tell you, when you work for your money and you spend your money, you take it much more serious than giving something to anybody. So anyway, to me, a lot of this was a very typical college socialist presentation, and I'll now sit through another one of
Well, I'm
these.
sorry you feel that way, because I support this 100%. I've been in community college, I've been a dean, I've been in these programs, and this is a great program, and I support you 100% and hope it's very successful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, focusing on Hispanics, I find that kind of demeaning in itself. If there's an economic range that you want to help assist, that's one thing. But I just.
I mean, we all
It's really the available workforce in the 28-year-old bracket that we're focusing on. They happen to be Hispanic. But if you're looking for a young person to work in your business, you're going to have a hard time finding them in the next couple of years. You're going to have a hard time finding
And we can disagree. I mean, that's.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming and talking about your programs.
Thank you guys. Have a good
Good
rest
luck.
of your
Thank
evening.
Good luck.
Thank you.
The building sign of this, that is fantastic. So
Also, you like some of what we said.
Thanks,
Here
man.
we go out this way?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
It's great seeing you guys again.
Thank you.
Okay, call to the public. Call the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. The total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to direct staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. And tonight we received 2. The first one I'm going to talk about, it's a long, several paragraphs, so I'm going to cut it a little shorter. And it's from Kim Beasley, who is the owner of Lucy's Bar and Grill and Danny's Bee and Fish and Chips. It reads in part, we invite the entire class of 2020 to participate in the Danny Beasley Community Essay Contest by submitting a 500-word essay with the theme, How I Will Use My Cougar Experience to Better My Community. Essay submission will be judged by a panel of local business and community leaders with 3 awards given. Deadline for the essays will be the Chino Valley Graduation Ball 2020, June 20th, 2020 at the Windmill House. Submissions may be dropped off at Danny B's Fish and Chips, located at 501 North Highway 89, Chino Valley. The total amount awarded will be determined by donations collected at several fundraisers between now and the Chino Valley Graduation Ball, including 2 car wash and live music fundraisers to be held at Lucy's Bar and Grill on Saturday, May 30th and Saturday, June 13th, featuring performances by the American musician Sky Conwell. So if you are interested in this program, if you're in the graduating class, please get hold of Lucy or Kim Beasley and Lucy's Bar and Grill and Danny B's Fish and Chips and submit your essay. There was another one submitted by Mr. Ken Foster from Chino Valley High School.
Alan Foster.
I'm sorry, Alan Foster. Thank you. Alan Foster from Chino Valley High School, and his concerns of all the things, lot splits. So, and it also is a long, long paragraph. I'm not going to read it tonight. But on June 30th, there's going to be a presentation to this council, a study session on that night, and I'm going to ask staff to get hold of Mr. Alan Foster and invite him to come and talk to the council that evening, rather than read this. So that will be on June 30th here at 6 p.m. and it will be a study session, and we will get a presentation on lot splits and where it's going to go. Thank you very much. Let's go on to response to the public. And that's what I've just done, response to the public. And let's go on to current events, summaries, and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor, any council member, or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events. If listed below, there may also be a presentation of information requested by the mayor and council, and questions may be answered and no action will be taken. I have a little bit on COVID-19. It looks like we have 8 active cases here in Chino Valley. We're asking folks to continue to separate and do the things that the president and the governor asked to do. Wear a face mask and those things. Wearing face masks is up to the person, but please try to do that when you're in the crowd. We will continue to separate and things that we do here in town. Our council will, on the 9th of June, will be the next council meeting. We will be back at the podium, and we will reset, but we'll probably limit the number of folks that can come in as to speak to the council. That's all I have about COVID-19. Anybody from the council have any information?
I
Comments? Yes?
have something, it just doesn't have anything to do with
Okay.
You want to go first?
Is yours COVID related?
No.
Okay, then yeah, I do, unless you're asking specifically for.
Anything.
Okay. I'm excited. So, business leaders in our community have gone above and beyond, and it started with Gary at El Charro Norte, and then it went to the Windmill House, and now the list of sponsors is endless, as Kim was referencing. So the graduating seniors of 2020 from Chino Valley High School are invited, themselves plus one guest, to the Chino Valley High School Graduation Ball 2020. It's on June 20th. It starts at 5:30. Mayor-elect Miller will be driving one of the trucks, he was voluntold. There's going to be a hayride, so to speak, Chino style, with the kids in their gowns, down 4 North, so their family and friends can line the streets and cheer them on. Their names will be announced by John Rust, who's our local sports reporter, as they go by, as long as they RSVP and let us know that they're there. And then they pull into the Windmill House and they take off their gowns and they have a prom. And it's completely free. It is catered by El Charro Norte, catering by Liz, Judd Sandwich Shop. There is a DJ, aerial photographer, 3 photo booths, I believe, prom picture photographer. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And I'm just super excited, and I hope the word gets out there to the seniors. I know they're not watching this meeting, but the social media blast is starting, and then Tom's Print and Sign is printing banners with the details for us, and all sponsors will be listed on the back. And I really hope our kids take advantage of this, because it really is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have a prom at the Windmill House, which they're not able to do due to financial constraints usually. So I'm happy about that, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
What time is that, Annie?
It begins 5:30. Well, 5 o'clock staging begins at 5:30. Yeah, the hayride.
Staging is at El Charro Norte?
Staging is at the Windmill House.
Okay. So we're going from the Windmill House to, you said up 4 North?
We'll talk details.
Okay.
The details.
Well, we gotta get them on the hayride.
Details to come.
On the flatbeds with hay, and then take them around and then get them back to the Windmill House.
Anybody else?
Okay, now that Annie's surprised, that sounds pretty good.
It's amazing.
Oh, I want to be a senior again.
You are?
Yours.
Yours.
Just not that nice.
Not that senior, thank you. We're now that things are trying to get back to normal, we're going to go ahead and have our 50th anniversary committee meeting at 6 o'clock, June 3rd. And those that have been involved, we would like to see you again. We will be 6 foot apart probably, but we still need to go ahead and get our ducks lined up, what we're going to finish this year out with.
All right, good, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, let's go to the town manager.
Okay, Mayor, you asked me to give an update on town openings, so I'm gonna kind of read through these.
Is that this paper?
No, I'm not reading all that.
Oh.
This is a summary of that. Lobbies to Town Hall and Development Services and Public Works are opening this coming Monday. And there will be signs limiting the number of people allowed in the lobby at one time. The police department lobby has been open since May 11th. The library opened last Monday, 5/18, and they are limiting the number of people in the library at one time. It hasn't been overly crowded. They've had their times, but it hasn't been a huge rush. People are a little cautious. Our playgrounds are now open and we have put up appropriate signage per the CDC guidelines. The senior center will remain closed to congregate lunches to the end of June. They will continue to offer curbside meals and Meals on Wheels. The community center will begin to host some meetings and classes, but we'll be working on the schedule to minimize large groups and allow time to sanitize after meetings. The Arizona Department of Liquor is not processing special event liquor licenses at this time. At our 4th of July event, Budweiser has been very generous donating beer for distribution. Because the Department of Liquor cannot give an answer on when they would be processing applications, it was decided there would be no alcohol at this year's 4th of July event. We will have all regularly scheduled activities and are hoping there will be no fire restrictions come the holiday. The Aquatic Center is still scheduled to open on June 12th with no swim lessons, but pretty much a regular schedule. The mud run has been canceled this year. It was scheduled for August, but because we can't come up with any ways to comply with CDC guidelines, we felt it was best to just cancel it. We have no study session next week. And Mr. Cook will go over some of the schedule having to do with the lot splits and the UDO subcommittee, which has kind of changed some of the time that we can get this out to the public. As the mayor mentioned, the next council meeting will be open to the public and council will be seated at the dais. We'll probably be limiting the number of participants in this room as well as maybe in the lobby. Jamie had a couple of things she wanted me to mention. The recruitment period for Chino Valley boards and committees is coming to a close. People wanting to apply for a reappointment or new appointment should submit their applications this week. And then Proposition 450 for home rule will be on the August 3rd primary ballot that you can get on our chinoaz.net/468 for details on home rule. Our outreach for this will be a little bit different than in prior years because a lot of the groups aren't meeting for that. And last message is from Mingus Springs Charter School. They'll be holding a drive-by 8th grade promotion ceremony tomorrow evening, May 27th at 5:30 p.m. The teachers and staff will be lined up along the school sidewalk to greet the 8th grade graduating class. Students and parents will remain in their vehicles and receive their graduation diploma from Director Dawn Gonzalez. Mrs. Gonzalez wishes to congratulate the entire student body on a job well done and let the students know the entire staff misses their students and look forward to seeing them again in the fall. To the 8th grade graduates, well done and best wishes on their future educational endeavors. Does anybody have any questions on the opening of town offices or anything? I put a list in your box, like you mentioned, for schedule. So.
One thing I want to talk about, we did have a town manager recruitment meeting. We interviewed 3 applicants, 3 companies. We did select one. Annie, myself, and Jack were on the committee. Right now, they submitted a contract, and the contract's at our attorneys, and they're going back and forth with the contract. We hope to have that on the June 9th meeting, so we can select and approve the contract for recruitment. So we'll make a presentation then, and so hopefully we can get that thing rolling as soon as we can. Okay. Anyone else? You have anyone else?
Yeah, but they're agenda.
Okay. Let's go on to the next. Status report by Development Services Director Joshua Cook regarding development services activities.
Three, good boy.
I'm working on it. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. This is the quarterly update, which covers January, February, and March. I will probably be coming back within the next month or two and presenting April, May, and June, the fourth quarter. So this only includes January, February, and March. So the third quarter, basic statistics, we handled 101 total residential permits. There were 12 commercial permits issued. The total valuation for those months was $7.5 million. We issued 19 total citations, had 34 total code cases, held 0 neighborhood meetings. We've been working on 2+ UDO text amendments, one of which will be going forward next Tuesday to Planning Commission. We've had 3 rezonings. Lot splits, I have asterisks there for obvious reasons. Site plan review, we've had 2. Engineering driveway permits 1, engineering grade permits 2, sign permits we've issued 4. Those have gone down because our sign permit requirements changed several months ago, and then we've issued 1 land use permit. Some of the current development plans that we have that we are in process reviewing right now include Town Center, which is a Mr. Jim Fletcher project. Brown Apartments, that's a new apartment complex off of Road 1 North, east of Road 1 East, next to Highlands Ranch, which they received their zoning entitlements 3 or 4 years ago. Brook Apartments has submitted for, I believe it's second review. We're finalizing that. Heritage Point is, we are finalizing those reviews and should have that to final, bring that forward to council for final plat approval within the next month or 2. And then Bright Star, with Bright Star, we've been finalizing their development agreement. Some of the proposals for the last 90 lots that they have platted will most likely require rezoning to a PAD to allow for flexible setbacks. But we have not seen that rezoning application yet. With that said, we are postponing or requesting a continuance to postpone the off-site signage text amendment to July. With the subdivision regulations and the lot split situation that we've been dealing with, staff has not been able to finalize the language for the off-site signage yet. And with that, that's my report.
Okay, let's go on to item D, report by Development Services Director Josh Cook regarding the updated schedule for town discussion on lot splits.
As I just alluded to, staff has been working hard with legal counsel to finalize a draft of the complete subdivision regulations. So it won't just be about lot splits, it'll be the entire Chapter 5 that we'll be bringing to you. We'll have that draft completed by June 15th. That is our goal. We will present that to the UDO subcommittee June 17th. We will present it to council at a work session June 30th. And then during that time, we will take it to Planning Commission at a special Planning Commission mid-month in July. And we will advertise for that either the 16th or the 23rd with a final date to present it to council on August 11th.
Questions?
None.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Question, you say the asterisk for obvious reasons for the people at home. Could you expand on that? We know what the asterisk
With
is.
the asterisks?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there were a lot of applications for lot splits before our January 14th meeting. Afterwards, there have been very few lot split applications. So while there were some that were in process, we haven't seen very many new applications come in. So there were some, but nothing new.
Okay,
That's
thank
why.
you.
Thank you. Let's go on to the consent agenda. All those items listed below are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. Are there any items on the consent agenda that you'd like to pull or remove?
I'll make a motion, we approve consent agenda items A, B, C, and D.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay? Motion carries. Let's go on to item 7, action items. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38431.03A3 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public, and no action may be taken in executive session. Let's go on to item 7A. Consideration and possible action to approve funding for the Yavapai Regional Transit for FY 2020-21 in the amount of whatever this council decides. Madam Town Manager.
Mayor and Council, last week, or 2 weeks ago, Ron Romley presented a proposal or a letter to you regarding funding for Yavapai Regional Transit. As you know, SIMPO has started a regional transit system that Yavapai Regional Transit isn't going to be a part of. And so he was asking the council for up to $35,000 of requests. So it's up to the council on what funding level you think might be appropriate for next.
What have we given them in the past?
We have not funded Yavapai Regional Transit in many years, except for the Paulden Plunge or certain specific items, but we haven't funded
We
the
gave them
regional
some,
transit.
when it first started, we gave them some buses.
Yeah, so we had gotten some buses from ADOT years ago, and the senior center, they weren't putting enough mileage on them, so we were able to transfer those over to the.
And just for what I've learned, this is a non-profit, correct?
Correct.
And Romleys don't receive a
No.
payroll from it,
So I
so,
believe they pay some of their drivers is all.
yeah, and the people that use the buses pay a small fee, but not what you would think the fee would be, correct?
Correct. It's not a self-funding system.
Right. I
It
just wanted to
it
get
is
that out,
funded-
because that's some stuff I didn't understand
It
about.
was funded, it is funded by ADOT, but there's also a requirement for matching funds.
Mhm.
So they have to go out and raise matching funds.
Yeah, they get rural transportation. It's actually federal funding through rural transportation that gets
Yeah.
funneled through ADOT.
And just a fair amount of people do use it.
Oh, yeah.
Suggestions?
They requested 35,000.
Well,
It's hard to come by right now.
I think it's the transit system in itself has been a success. The people that have headed it up, the people that have worked with it, the drivers and everything have put a lot of effort into making this happen, and I certainly hate to see it go away. I don't think that a request like this could have come at a worse time, you know, with the situation that we've got with being uncertain on where we're at with federal and state funding and what's going to happen to it. Personally, I would be good with recommending 50% of what's being asked for, but also letting them know that we will we'll watch how things are going within our town. And if things continue to go the right direction and we can afford to be a bigger part of this, then we can come back and choose to take another look at it.
Okay.
Is this coming out of this year's budget or next?
Next year.
Next year.
The gray
Which is-
area.
Which is already set and we've cut and cut and cut, right?
Yes.
I can support what Lonnie said.
Anybody else? Yes.
I had 25,000 in mind is what my number was.
Yeah, I
Because
could
I agree,
support
I do think it would, that we have a certain amount of citizens that do utilize it and that live in Chino, that kind of depend on it for doctor's appointments in town, which it's not our fault that they decide to live here and their doctor's in there, but that is reality, that this is a more affordable place to live, so.
That'd be what, 17.5?
So,
50% would be 17.5
Yes.
Round up.
or 25, 17.5,
How
20?
about round it up to 20 and,
that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I'd like the hub to stay here in Chino.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think additional information, like we said, as the curtain opens up and things start to evolve, we may be able to, if they're in trouble at a later date, augment that.
So should we put like a placeholder back in January then, that you guys can relook at it? And we'll, but somebody needs to make a motion for the 20,000.
I
I'll
can't
make-
vote. I sit on the board of directors. I can't vote.
I'll make a motion, we, hang on a second. Approve funding for Yavapai Regional Transit for fiscal 2021 in the amount of $20,000.
I'll second.
I have a motion in 2 seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. B, consideration of possible action regarding the memorandum of understanding between the Town of Chino Valley and Chino Valley Police Officers Association. That's our HR manager's job.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
Okay, so the Chino Valley Police Officers Association per town code, per town code, has the right to meet and confer with town management and submit a proposal relating to wages, benefits, safety regulations, and other working conditions by January 15th of every year. We received a letter from the CVPOA on January 28th. In your packet, you'll see the letter we received, and we've incorporated the town's responses to each item. The Vice President, Dave McNally of the CVPOA, and I, the town manager's designee, we had a really good and productive meeting. And we discussed their requests and the town's responses, and we agreed upon the listed responses. This year, there were 4 official requests and 4 responses from town management that resulted in no financial or fiscal impact to the budget. And they're in your packet. If you have any questions regarding the request and response, I can speak to those.
Anyone have any questions?
No, it seems pretty good to me.
Looks pretty good to me. Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept staff recommendations regarding memorandum of understanding between the town of Chino Valley and Chino Valley Police Officers Association.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go on to item C, consideration of possible action to adopt resolution number 2020-1159, approving a tentative budget for fiscal year 2020-2021 and proposed expenditure limitation for the same year in the amount of $24,407,900, and setting a public hearing date of June 23rd, 2020 on the tentative budget and adoption of the final budget. Mr. Duffy, how many slides do you have?
I have one slide, sir.
Wow.
One slide. I'm going to keep it really short tonight because this is just adopting the tentative budget, which basically sets our expenditure limitation. So if we adopt the tentative budget, which is what we're recommending for $24,407,000, $407,900, we cannot adopt a budget at our final budget meeting for more than this amount. So it sets the minimum amount. And as you know, at the last meeting, we talked about everything we're holding off and not doing any projects. And we believe even if, when revenues come back, this will give us the capacity to go ahead and get things done that we're holding off on. So we believe it's a really good number to do it. So last year's budget, $27,976,800. This year's budget, we decreased it by $3,568,000. So we're recommending $24,407,900 for next year's budget.
Questions?
No?
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion we adopt resolution number 2020-1167, approving a, wait a minute, wrong one, excuse me, retract, back up. Okay, here it is. I make a motion we adopt resolution number 2020-1159, approving a tentative budget and proposed expenditure limitation for fiscal year 2021 in the amount of $24,407,900 and setting June 23rd as the date for public hearing on tentative budget and for adoption of the final budget for fiscal 2021.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item D, consideration possible action to adopt resolution number 1167, approving an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, with the state of Arizona State, authorizing the contribution of $125,000 toward the construction costs for improvement along Road 1 North in conjunction with the construction of a new traffic signal and road widening. Hey, Frank, you're up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do want to note that Alvin Stump, the district engineer for ADOT, was going to be here. He couldn't make it at the last minute, and he sends his apologies. But hopefully I can do a noble effort of trying to fill in for him. I don't have his expertise on this project, but we'll give it a shot. This IGA is an agreement between the town and ADOT. The cost for the project have overrun over the years, and this one in particular, this agreement revolves around some of the work on 1 North. Rather than cut out, I'm sorry? Rather than cutting out some of the scope to amend the project, staff recommends that we approve the IGA for the $125,000 that's where the project's over the budgeted estimate. That work on 1 North has to deal with some of the pavement work, mainly on the west side where the hospital and the shopping center is. Some of the road tapers and items like that. I do have some slides, but they're engineering plans, and I'm the only one that usually understands those, and it's about half of the council. We can show those with reference if we need to, but other than that, it's basically a cost-sharing agreement for the $125,000. If it extends over that $125,000, there is a clause in there that the town and ADOT will split any runs over that. And Alvin assures me that they will do their best to bring that even in line and come in under the engineer's estimate in the end.
So according to the original plans, they had to do some rework on that corner where the medical center is.
Right, there's some widening and curb and gutter
things
and
there,
items
so
like
I know
that
it's
on
gonna cost
actually
some
both
money.
sides of the road.
Yeah. Questions? Comments?
I have one question. On the east side, where they're widening the road, it's actually 2 lanes all the way down to Prescott's pump station. Are they assisting any, or are they just getting a free road?
Who's they?
Prescott.
Prescott.
Where?
This-
What? On two
On the
north?
east side, 1 North, as I understand it, is being widening all the way down to the pump station driveway.
Frank, they're doing some improvements to their entryway, right, on 1
Well,
North for the city of
there's-
Prescott. But they're
Right,
paying for that.
the road widens out for the turn lanes at the signal, and there's a taper that goes in back. I'm more familiar with the north side where the property line is for the center that Paul Levi owns. That goes back to the back of their property line. It's about the end of the project. On the south side, City of Prescott owns that. They are proposing a driveway to come in. If they need extra paving for a decel lane for their driveway and for the trucks to make it easier, they're gonna do the extra paving on their own for that driveway.
Okay.
So there's nothing related to their driveway as part of this project. Any of the work for this project is needed to make those tapers fit engineering standards, if that helps answer your question.
All right, I just heard that Prescott was gonna do something to their entranceway and what
They
have
are,
you.
but they're funding it.
And I just wanna make sure it was coming out of their pocket, not ours.
If you drive by there, you can see the work they're doing back in behind that fence.
Absolutely. Any driveway work they're doing, and they will submit for permits with the town to be able to do that.
All right.
Anybody else? Corey? You look like
This is just establishing the estimate of the job. Hasn't gone to bid. It's when it actually goes to bid is when we actually know what the project can be done for.
Correct.
The putting in an additional amount to rebuild the town's portion is one thing. But signing up blindly for a 50-50 split, we have no idea what that could end up.
Correct.
Right, that's kind of why we invited Alvin to come tonight, to support that. I had a discussion with him on the phone. He tends to think that they're gonna rework some things and they'll come in at budget, and I said, but we don't know that, and we have no control over the project. So I said, I think you're gonna have to come and present this to the council so that they have this comfort level. He talked about, across the highway, they were gonna do a whole mill and fill, and they're gonna try and change the scope on that and just do an overlay, because they're already scheduled to do an overlay on all of Highway 89. Some other things like that, that they were gonna try and manage it to keep it in budget. But I said, that's problematic for us. So talking with the mayor, we decided at least put it on the agenda, because this project has been dragging on for so long, and this would delay it again if we didn't go forward with it right now, so.
This project's been in mill for at least 10 years. When I was on Simpo, we were working on this project, so it's delayed and delayed, and the cost goes up and up and up. So we need to make a decision one way or another. If you want to delay it till the next council meeting and get the engineer here, okay, but we need to get this thing funded.
Because we've already committed to 75, and we knew that.
That was going, yeah.
So now the 75 has gone up to 125.
Yep.
And then there's the,
Is this up to,
It's an
or is it
additional
additional?
It's an
So we're up to
additional
200.
125.
an additional 125.
Yes, we're 200.
So if
And
you,
then 50.
if you're uncomfortable with it and you want to talk to the town engineer, we can delay
And we're
this.
still only like 10% of the total cost.
Yeah, we're a very small percentage. And the county has some money in it too. They have a lot of money in it.
I'm very supportive of this light, and have been. I just don't feel comfortable voting on any number without ADOT representation giving us the breakdown. Nothing against you personally, but I would like their representative to be here, and I would like it to be pushed through. Not pushed through, but rather quickly, because it has
Is
been
this
on
gonna
for a long time.
delay anything if we put it out to another meeting? Anybody?
I don't
It's
think
aimed
till
that way.
another meeting. If we have to completely rewrite the contract, it may delay it. But if you guys just want to hear from Alvin, I hope he can come at the next meeting. If not him, maybe somebody else from ADOT. But at least to make you feel better, if you want to ask him questions about the project and how he's going to manage it, because that was our concern as well.
I'd feel more comfortable to have Alvin here, tell you the truth.
Then what I would like to see specifically, that you can communicate to Alvin prior, is what are we getting for $125,000? You know, and again, you've got the plans for this. Just what are we getting for that? Because if it's one of those things that you may look at and say, yeah, it's maybe a $75,000 project to do what they want, 125 for, and then again, we could use the alternative and just say, take our 1 North out of your project, and we'll just step up independently to.
Right, and we went over some of that at a staff level with Alvin, and our recommendation is it's worth the money, but if you want Alvin to come and maybe show some of that, I'm sure he could make the next meeting. Well, I don't want to speak for him, but
yeah.
we'll
The only
at least
problem with
ask
this is, Frank, there's no limit on it, so if they go over, they can just go over.
them. Right, and
We're responsible for 50% of that, so.
And that's a problem I have with a lot of IGAs with ADOT. Usually the local agency projects we do, they put in there that any overruns will be at 100% town cost for any overruns, and then they have operational control of that project. So it always puts the local government in a bind that way.
I'd like to have a motion to move this forward to the next meeting and have somebody from ADOT to come make a presentation.
I'll make the motion, we table this until June 9th, and then have representation from ADOT to be here with more detailed explanation.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you, Frank. Let's go on to item E, consideration possible action to approve the cooperative purchasing agreement with Construction Product Marketing LLC to survey and clean the town's wastewater collection system in the amount of $72,520. Frank, you're up again.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is for a budgeted project that we have, of course, in the budget for system cleaning of our sewer system. The sewer system's getting on in age. It's probably 15 years old or so right now, most of it. And we need to start looking at some of the routine cleaning and system upkeep. And as the year progressed, we found a little bit of an alternative solution to target our cleaning and we think get the best bang for our buck. So these folks will come in and do some, they use kind of a sounding technique or a sonar type technique is the way I understand it, to survey the system, find where the clogs and the clumps of roots and materials are, and then they can target the cleaning in only the areas we need. So we're hoping by doing this method that we can save money next year and then only come back the year after that, rather than spending $75,000 a year doing system cleaning maybe on sections that don't need it, that we can't see. So we're proposing to, this task order is for, I have the dollar amount, 72,000. I'm on the wrong item.
520, you're right.
Right, $72,520, using a cooperative contract through, I believe, Mesa.
Okay, questions?
I have two. One is, so they're just, maybe you answered it, my first question. I was gonna ask what our shop vac or our pump vac, whatever that truck was for, that we own, and not for cleaning out our sewers?
Not, it won't work for this. They will come, they'll use the
This is
radar.
more cleaning the roots and clogs out of it.
Yeah, it'll be jetting. It's more of a jet they'll put through, a water jet, to go and clear the system, where our Vector truck can just vacuum out a manhole, so to speak. It's like one suction tube that goes straight down. This will actually clean the line in between the manholes, which we don't have the capability to do, and is usually a contractor type.
And you said this was
operation.
already budgeted?
It was in the budget, this current year's budget, 75,000.
To
Okay.
do exactly this?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was gonna ask why this didn't come through committee. Is my second question.
It was in the budget to do.
So it
it.
doesn't-
We approved last year's budget, so this should have been approved.
Am I supposed to send these projects through committee?
I don't know.
first?
Utility committee? I mean,
But I think it was already brought in front of us
Yeah,
before.
Okay. I'm
In a-
just
in a
curious.
study
Oh,
session.
Just asking questions.
Typically, these projects, I think we bring through prior to the budget.
So it would have been last year?
Yeah.
It should have came through even, I don't remember,
last-
that's the first I heard about it, so, that I remember hearing about.
The specific method, we may not have discussed, but the system cleaning.
You were dove hunting.
Whatever.
I believe Councilman Mendoza was correct, you were definitely. Actually, we had, so we started budgeting it last year, in the current year's budget for 75 a year, and the plan was to do 75 a year every year from this point forward. So with this system, by specifically cleaning the areas that are dirty, we'll skip next fiscal year, and then we'll have them come back and do the sounding again, and then plan on 75 for the
So
year.
it's a biannual thing.
Yeah, so, but it'll save us about half. We think this
Okay.
plan will save us about half of what we were originally planning on doing.
I was just curious how it works and trying to understand.
It's almost like getting a video of it first,
Right.
so you can tell where your
You can see where the
problems-
plug, I understand that, I'm just,
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
oh, that's me. Approve the cooperative purchasing agreement with Construction Products Marketing LLC to survey and clean the town's entire wastewater collection system for the amount of $72,520.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'd like to go to item F, consideration possible action to award contract to J Company Contracting LLC for construction of Road 3 North Flood Control Project in the amount of $93,396.50. Mr. Marbury again.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item is one of the flood control projects. I believe Richard Straub brought to council a few years ago and created a list. I think this was number 2 out of 5 on the list. So we're just working our way down the list. This project is Road 3 North, right across from the Development Services and Public Works Office. The drainage channel that goes underneath the road and connects it down into Appaloosa 2 subdivision. I think when it was built several years ago, there was a type of erosion protection used in there that's failing. So when Richard was here, we tried a test project right by Road 3 where we just basically used gunite and reinforced that ditch section, and it's worked really well. So we're proposing to extend that through the whole length of this ditch to tie into the concrete portion of the ditch that continues on through Appaloosa Meadows. I believe the budgeted amount for this was about $120,000. Bids came in just under $94,000, $396 and 50 cents. So staff recommends moving forward with this project, and the money will come out of the flood control money that the county, I don't want to say kicks back, but distributes to the town out of the property tax money for flood control.
So this is temporary, it really comes out of county funds, not ours.
Yes.
Yes.
Comes out of county funds. I need a motion.
Let me ask for comments first.
Comments?
Okay, now I'll make a motion. Award contract to J Company Contracting LLC for the construction of the Road 3 North Flood Control Project in the amount of $93,396.50.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I would like to have a motion for adjournment from regular session into executive session.
That's you, Lon.
From regular session to executive. Can I make a
No, we're
motion?
adjourning
Yes,
this
sir.
meeting.
I make,
No, we're adjourning the meeting.
This
We're
meeting can be
adjourning?
adjourned.
adjourning this meeting.
Adjourning this meeting and going to executive session.
Okay, I make a motion, we adjourn.
And
Second.
All,
I make a motion.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We're going into executive session. After
Are we
take
doing
a-
that here?
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing it. After we take a 10-minute break.
Okay. You're up, Andrew, in 10 minutes.
At this point, we're turned off though from the public, aren't
So
we?
Andrew will need to
Yes,
redial
sir.
in.
Although I think we need to reconnect.
Yes, you'll need to hang up. We'll end this meeting.
Hang up the damn phone,
Go
Andrew.
into the next one.
See you later. Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
I should go pee, but that means I have to stand up. I hate
I'm
standing up.
thinking about it too. But
Oh, you can just go ahead and go.
Thanks. It's a whole lot easier.
I really want to go pee.
So let's wear your rubber boots and bring a phone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
You know what? We poured 10 yards today, colored concrete, and then the guy went, you know that color release they put on, well, like when you stamp concrete?